Yo, got another Naturia deck. Took this to my locals and ended up getting 4th place, going 3-1. I decided to try out the Runick variant. I'll say up front, this list is very similar to the list from Dortmund, so let's just get into it. 3 Mole Cricket, 3 Camellia, Sunflower, then 2 Blessing, and 3 Sacred Tree. I'm not playing Stink Bug because you have protection via the Runick cards, and you have plenty of ways to access your big synchros like Baronne and Chengying using Bystials and other additions to the extra deck. I usually don't like playing less than 3 Blessing, just because it is one of the best cards in the deck, but believe it or not, you can brick on it, and it happened often enough that I had to cut it down. For the Bystials, I'm running 3 Magnemute and 2 Druisworm. These are the 5 cards that take this deck over 40. You could adjust the ratios of them how you see fit, but I feel they're mandatory. They're so good being level 6. One of these plus Camellia is Baronne. You can also use them to make Wallow or Beatrice. For the Ishizu cards, 3 Kelbek, 1 Agito, and then 3 Keldo and 3 Mudora. Kelbek is a hand trap that seems to keep catching people off guard, and it's a way to dump a bunch of Runick spells and Sacred Trees into your grave. Hopefully. Agito is a card that you could cut, but I like having the option to search this off of Keldo and potentially get a free rank 4, or just having the option to mill an additional 5. Mudora without Gravekeeper's Trap and Vernisylphs is just kind of sad. I think overall this build probably is better than that build, but I was having a lot more fun with Vernisylphs. Then for the Runick cards, 2 Fountain, 3 Tip, 3 Freezing Curses, 3 Slumber, 3 Flashing Fire, 3 Destruction, and 1 Smiting Storm. Some people play 1 Fountain, and I think that's insane. You want to have at least 2 because you can loop through them repeatedly. I think you can draw like 12 cards turn 1 if you open the best possible hand. Having the option to use Hugin as well and discard a tree or even an Ishizu card is very nice. I think the only card you can cut out of these is Smiting Storm. Right now the total cards in deck is 45. For the future I'd probably cut 1 Druisworm, Smiting Storm, Agito, and play it at 42 just so I have a better chance at seeing my side. For the extra deck, 1 Dark, 1 Asa. These are the only link monsters. The list from Dortmund was playing Asa and then playing Unicorn and Access Code. I don't really think this deck needs that removal, and damage is no issue. I also consistently ran into an issue of just not having a way to link off Druisworm. Also, Dark is broken and pretty much always has targets, why would I not play it? Asa is great, it can force your opponent's shufflers, or you can grab something like a Fenrir or a Regulus. I did actually play against pure Therion, and that did come up. For the Runicks, 2 Hugin and 1 Jerry. Jerry is fucked in this deck. You can use him to make Dweller, use it detaching him, and use a Shuffler to put him back, and then use him again to loop the field spell over and over again. For the Xyz monsters, Dugaries, Dweller, Baguska, Wallow, and Beatrice. This draws 2 and discards 1, hopefully pitching a Sacred Tree. This is Dweller. For Baguska, you can oftentimes end up playing Baguska Control. This card is also good if you get shifted. Pretty much any deck playing Shifter is also going to get really screwed over by Baguska. Wallow, this card is optional. I still haven't actually resolved his effect. Card is technically 2 DD Crows, or you can steal something out of your opponent's grave and use it against them, but the setup this card requires can usually go towards something better. It also gives a massive attack boost to all of your monsters, so if you ever did end up going to your battle phase, it could potentially be game-ending. And it serves as a counter to those pesky chump-blocking Bystials. If I had to replace it, I'd probably just play Unicorn. Or if I'm feeling adventurous, something like Gallant Granite to search a Keystone or Nib. Beatrice you can use to foolish a Sacred Tree, a Mole Cricket, a Shuffler, a Miller, or some fun cards I have in the side deck. For the Synchros, Naturia Beast, Stardust Charge Warrior, Coral Dragon, and Baronne and Chengying. I think the only time I summoned Naturia Beast was to help climb into a Chengying. Charge Warrior you use using a Hugin and a Camellia. It draws a card and it's also a level 6, so you can use it to make Wallow or Beatrice, or if you have another Camellia on the field, a level 10 Synchro. Coral Dragon is another level 6 Synchro, but this time it's a tuner, meaning you can now use your Ishizu cards to get to a level 10 Synchro. It also draws a card when it leaves the field, but it also has the added effect of being able to discard a card and pop a card your opponent controls. Wacky little note is that it is a dragon, so Magnemute can add him back from your grave after you've used him in the end phase, if need be. I did summon Baronne more often than Chengying, but Chengying is a monster in this deck. Triggers off of every Runick card and the Shufflers and Bystials, and is just a bitch to deal with sometimes. For the side deck, 1 Cowboy, 1 Skullmark Ladybug, doesn't matter how fast you play, 1 Banshee, and 1 Zombie World. This is for decks like Fluanderies, Dragon Link, Earth Machine. It turns off the Gates of Dark World, it hits tier to a lesser extent, it just makes it harder to summon Kitkalos because they won't have an Aqua in grave. Still have one in hand though. I played Gamma. This is for cards like Shifter and Droll. It's also just a decent card going second. One Called By for Shifter and Droll. Didn't want to main deck it because I don't think I'm ever actually getting hit with Droll game 1. I cut Orange Light from the side because it being limited makes it even more difficult to actually open it and another fairy to pitch. You didn't just lose out on 2 of the hand trap itself, you lost 2 other fairies, making it less reliable in general. You could play shit like Green Light if you really wanted to, just so you can get the value of having a negate into a triple DD Crow using the Shufflers. I just decided to not lean into that yet. 3 Lightning Storm for back row removal or just being Raigeki. There's probably not a better card to play here, but I only activated it once, eating a Judgment, but can't complain, I guess. Then, finally, 3 Dark Ruler No More. Was going back and forth if I wanted this or Lava Golem. Decided on this because this beats Floodgates. I don't think this side deck is terrible, but my last round match kind of proved to me that this deck has a really bad matchup against decks aiming to combo you out of the game before your board breakers hit the table. Besides Kelbek and some Bystials, I'm wide open to get FTK'd. If I played this deck again, I'd definitely add some hand traps, either to the side or main, stuff like Veiler, Nib, or Droll. I also usually like playing these deep draw decks with hand traps, so I feel like I'm drawing myself into the win rather than drawing more runic spells that might not be as effective as a hand trap. Anyway, that's the deck. Thanks for watching!